There is a heartbreaking deleted scene from Avengers Endgame featuring Tony Stark and his daughter Morgan immediately after Tony snaps with the Infinity Gauntlet. This scene would have absolutely changed the way we think about big MCU concepts and heightened our appreciation for the sacrifice Tony chose to make, but it was left out on the cutting room floor. Welcome to Streaming the Galaxy, I'm Rocket Riley, and a certain deleted scene from Avengers Endgame would have changed everything we know about the MCU's Infinity Saga. This scene begins immediately after Tony says, "I am Iron Man," and with the Infinity Stones, snaps Thanos and his forces away. After this snap, Tony enters the Soul World, where he sees a grown-up version of his daughter Morgan, similar to how Thanos entered the Soul World and saw a young version of his daughter Gamora. Upon entering the Soul World, Tony is confused, wondering where he is. Then he hears a young woman call out to him, who he doesn't recognize at first. He asks if he knows her, and she says that they're actually pretty close. He then recognizes her to be his daughter, Morgan. She tells him that his snap worked and that she got to grow up to live a full life. He tells her that he thinks he may have made a bad decision by snapping, but Morgan tells him that she's proud of him and of what he did. Lastly, she says that she's happy for the time they had together and that she loves him, to which Tony replies, "I love you 3000. Calling back to when Morgan told Tony that she loves him 3000 before going to bed, which was likely one of the last times she ever saw him. If this scene had been included in the final cut of Avengers Endgame, then several core MCU concepts would have been completely changed, along with a few character-related changes. After the events of Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, we were given the understanding that when someone was sacrificed in order to get the Soul Stone, their soul was trapped in a place called the Soul World, a pocket dimension located inside the Soul Stone. That's why Thanos saw a young version of Gamora in the Soul World when he snapped, since she was the one who he sacrificed on Vormir to get the Soul Stone. The idea was that when anyone used the stones, their consciousness would be transferred to the Soul World to atone for their actions, just as Thanos' consciousness was transferred to the Soul World, where he explained that it cost everything to achieve his goal. With this deleted scene though, this whole concept is changed. In the scene, Tony sees his daughter Morgan, who had basically nothing to do with Thanos or any sacrifice on Vormir. If this scene were to be included, it might have made more sense for Tony to see Natasha Romanoff, who sacrificed herself on Vormir so that Clint Barton could live and bring the Soul Stone back. They could have talked about how they both sacrificed everything for the ones they love, even though they were leaving behind different things. This could have been a pretty touching scene, which likely would have made more sense to audiences if a short explanation was given as to why Thanos saw Gamora or why Tony saw Natasha in this surreal world. It could be plausible that rather than a pocket dimension located inside the Soul Stone though, the Soul World is simply a manifestation of the individual's fears or regrets that they have to face after using the stones. That would basically be the only case where it would make sense for Tony to see Morgan in the Soul World rather than Natasha. All the details aside, if this scene had been included, it would have just further emphasized the huge sacrifice Tony made in order to save the world. Many people complain that Tony could have simply given the stones to Captain Marvel or the Hulk to take out Thanos' forces, but as Doctor Strange said after looking at 14,605 potential outcomes, it was the only way. If he had tried to give them to someone else, Thanos or his forces could have stopped him somehow. Tony was destined to make this sacrifice from the moment he said, "I am Iron Man" in the first Iron Man film. This deleted scene would have just punched that idea home further, showing the full emotional weight Tony must have felt in leaving behind not just his wife, but his daughter too. Ultimately though, the scene wasn't included in the final cut of the film because it didn't resonate with audiences in test screenings. The producers opted to skip over the scene since it confused some audiences and it seemed to slow down the emotional development between scenes at this point in the movie, which makes sense because the next scene would have been Tony's death scene, one which is pretty heavy emotionally. Following that, we get a hologram of Tony giving his final will and testament, Tony's funeral, and Steve Rogers handing off the mantle of Captain America to Sam Wilson, all of which are hefty emotional scenes. It makes sense that the scene wouldn't be included due to the high number of emotional scenes near the end of the film. Also, the scene would have caused tons of confusion since the actress playing Tony's daughter Morgan is one we had yet to see before. Not only would audiences be confused that there was a new actress on screen, but it would have been confusing why Tony was seeing his daughter at all. If the deleted scene had been included though, then people would have likely had much different theories about the Infinity Stones, and in particular about the Soul Stone. If you want to hear about the craziest Marvel theory we've seen, check out this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and from everyone here at Streaming the Galaxy, thanks for watching.